Hello everyone, I'm Ritika Hori from Management Bliss. Welcome to this Jira crash course for beginners. Jira is one of the project management tools. In this course, you will learn about what is Jira and how to use it. You don't need to know anything about Jira or Scrum to start on this course. The key takeaways of this course are: you will know what Jira is, you will know about Scrum concepts, and the most important one is that you can start using Jira straight after listening to this course. So let's get started with our agenda. But before that, please subscribe the channel Management Bliss for more informative videos if not done already. Okay, now let us look into the agenda of this course. We will be covering Introduction to Jira, Concept of Scrum, Epics, Stories, Tasks and Bugs, what is a product backlog, what is sprint backlog, Scrum team composition, and how to do a lot of things in Jira like creating a project, creating an epic, user story, task and bug, estimating, adding story points, creating a sprint, starting a sprint, viewing Scrum board and its configuration, workflows and editing a workflow, creating filters, creating board filter, closing sprints, velocity chart, and creating a dashboard. So let us get started with the very first topic of the course, Introduction to Jira. So, what is Jira? Jira is a project management tool owned by Atlassian for planning, tracking, and supporting software projects. Jira these days is the most popular tool used worldwide in IT industry and other industries as well. I have used a lot of project management tools including Jira, and I believe that Jira deserves this fame because of the feature it provides. It is easy to learn, is highly customizable, and the teams can use it as per their needs. Let us move on to Jira usage. Jira can be used for a lot of activities like requirement management, task management, bug tracking system, streamlining workflows, estimations, reporting, project analytics, logging and customization, email notifications, release planning, backlog tracking, product mapping, and many more. For this course, we will be learning about Jira with the help of Jira Setup on Cloud. I have created an account of Jira and you can do the same by logging on to www.atlassian.com. You can create free Jira account too for up to 10 users by hitting the same website. Since Jira is Scrum centric and the knowledge of Scrum is required to understand Jira, let us jump straight on to Scrum and its concept. But before that, do not forget to subscribe the channel for much more informative courses like this. So, what is a Scrum? Scrum is a framework based on Agile to define, plan, execute, and deliver projects. Scrum is a time-boxed and iterative process. Scrum teams work in sprints. Sprints are fixed time intervals where time duration is decided by the team to complete a selected scope of work. To know more about sprints, do view the video What are Sprints in Agile on YouTube in the same channel Management Bliss. Let us now look into the structure of the Scrum team. A Scrum team has three roles: Product Owner, Scrum Master, and the Development team. Product Owner works with the customer to gather requirements and is responsible for creating user stories out of these requirements. He guides the team on what needs to be done and why it has to be done. He is accountable for maintaining the backlog. Scrum Master is a servant leader in the team who is responsible to make sure that Agile concepts are being followed and helps the team in resolving obstacles. Scrum Master facilitates all Scrum ceremonies and guides the team with Agile and Scrum principles. Development team is the team of cross-functional people who will do the work to get the project delivered. Let us now discuss backlogs. Product backlog. Product backlog is a prioritized list of user stories. Product owner manages this backlog. Only product owner can remove any work items from the backlog, though anyone in the team can go ahead and add additional items to it. Scrum team discusses work items of the product backlog to estimate, specify, and prioritize them. This exercise is called as backlog grooming. To know more about product backlogs, do look into the video Product Backlogs in the YouTube channel, and you can also go through Product Backlogs article on www.managementbliss.com. Then comes Sprint Backlog. Sprint Backlog is a separate list of user stories which is a subset of Product Backlog. Sprint Backlog is a selected scope for the upcoming sprint. Next topic of the course is Scrum Ceremonies. The main Scrum Ceremonies are Daily Stand-Up, Sprint Planning, Sprint Review, and Sprint Retrospection. Let us talk about each of them. Sprint Planning. Before the sprint starts, team decides to discuss the scope of the sprint in a sprint planning meeting. This meeting finalizes sprint backlog and sprint goal. Next is Daily Stand-Up. The Scrum team meets every day for a maximum of 15 minutes to discuss what they did yesterday, plans for today, and if there are any impediments impacting their work. Also, at the end of the day, each team member should update the remaining work on the tasks they are working on. Next comes Sprint Review. Once a sprint is ended, only the completed user stories are delivered. A review meeting is held to approve the deliverables. This meeting is termed as Sprint Review Meeting. Next is Sprint Retrospection. Sprint Retrospection is the last ceremony of the sprint. In this, the team meets to discuss what went well and what needs improvement. Apart from that, team also engages at regular intervals for backlog grooming. Next topic up for discussion is what are epics, user stories, tasks, and bugs. Let's start with epics. Epics are huge pieces of work which need to be converted into smaller ones. We can say that an epic is a big requirement which cannot be delivered into one sprint and should be divided into smaller and more manageable ones which can be completed in multiple sprints. For example, in a clinical management system, requirements associated with clinicians is one of an epic. User stories. User stories are smaller or individual requirements that a client wants. User stories cover just the information required to work. For example, as a clinician, I want to access the medical history of the patients assigned. Next is tasks. Tasks are the elements of the story. We can also say that a work required to get the story done is a task. For example, configuration work required to provide access to a medical history module to clinicians for assigned patients is one such example. Next are bugs. Bugs are defects, errors, or faults that are seen in a software. For example, when a user opens medical history module, the system crashes. With that, we have completed the revision of Scrum concepts, and further in the course, we will see how to do different things in Jira. I am quite thrilled to move on to the next section of the course and believe you are too. Before moving ahead, do not forget to subscribe the channel and please hit the like button. You can also find a lot of good information in www.managementbliss.com. Let us start by creating a Jira project. On the right hand side, there is a Create Project button. Jira provides different templates which we can use to create a project. I am selecting Scrum, Use Template, and here I am selecting Select a Company Managed Project. So we can see that it provides some advanced features, pull in issues from other projects, custom filters, parallel sprints, etc. Let's go ahead and create this one. Give it a name. I'm giving it my Jira project. Let's go ahead and create it. It shows that the board has already been created for a project, but nothing is there because we haven't created any epic, stories, tasks, etc. So let's go ahead and start creating them as well. Button on the top, Create button, helps us to create different types of issues in Jira. Let's see what are the different issue types provided in the Scrum template. They are story, bug, epic, etc. For now, I'm using epic and I will be creating an epic. Epic to fulfill clinicians' requirements. You can use your own epic name which suits your project. For the time being, let me just take the same summary. The attachment field here helps us to attach any additional documents to the issue. In description column, we can write in details about the issue and any other information you want to provide. We can link the issues with each other. We can provide the priority, which is highest, high, low, lowest, etc. By default, it's medium. We can provide in which sprint the issue will lie. Since we haven't created any sprint in this project, let's just create a simple epic. So now if I move to the issues, I can see that the epic has already been created. Now let me create some user stories and tasks as well. To create the user story, select the issue type as story. As a clinician, I want to view the medical history of patients. Again, there are different fields which I can provide information for in this issue type as well. Let me associate it with my epic. Create. Issue story has been created. Let me create two more. Again, I can provide whatever information I want. For now, I will just link it with my epic. Let's create just one more. Again, associating it with the same epic. We can also provide labels here. Now what are labels? Labels are just kind of tags you want to put on your issue so that the search becomes easier for them. I can create new labels anytime I want in the project. So as it shows that it's a new label, so I'm putting it as section 1. Now let me create just one more issue, and this is a dummy story. Let me put it in section 3. As I don't want to work on it for now, I'm not associating it with any epic because it's not related to the epic I'm working on. So it has been created. Now we have created the stories and the epics, but still we are not able to see anything yet on the board. Why? Because we have not created our sprint yet. So now our backlog shows all these 4 issues, and if we see on the icons, it shows that this is a story. Now let me create a task as well. Let me keep it as a dummy task. So we can see that the icon for the task is different. Now let me create a bug as well. We all know that bugs are nothing but the defect while working on our project. Let me give it a name as dummy bug 1. Again, I can provide any other information here. If I want to provide it as a, let me put it as section 1. Okay. So now we saw that as soon as we create any type of issue, it gets piling up on the backlog. The backlog shows all these issues created. So we have already discussed about backlog. Backlog is a list of prioritized items, and before starting the sprints, product owner and the team will come and do estimations, etc. So let us get an idea on how sprint planning might happen. Let's say that team wants to put only 3 stories as of now as part of the sprint. So what they will do is they will pull up each story, have a discussion on it, put some label if they want to. Let's say they want to have it as part of section 1. And as per the team, the story is big and they want to give it an estimation as 8 story points. After discussing the first one, they will move on to the next. Similarly, they will move on to the others and provide them with an estimation. To know more about story points estimation, do listen the video Story Points in Agile in Management Bliss channel. Since the estimation is done for all the selected stories, let us now create the sprint. To create the sprint, click on the Create Sprint button on top. Simply add the selected stories by dragging and dropping to your sprint. Once all the stories have been added, all the detailed discussions are done, let us now start the sprint. We will give a sprint goal. As we can see that now we have our sprint ready and the board is also ready to take all the issues added in the sprint. Once the team starts working on any of the issues, we can move them to in progress or any other statuses as and when the issue progresses. We can also make some changes on the board. Now let us see how to configure the board. There is a 3-dot button on the top right of the screen. Let us click on it. Select board settings from the menu. It shows all the setting options which we can use to make the changes. For example, let's say I want to add one more column to our board. I'm adding testing. Now move back to board and see, we have added one more column to the board. Though we can move the issues to this column only if the workflow permits. We will look into the workflows later on in this course. Again, going back to the board settings, I would like to show you that there are some other features as well. For example, we can add the card colors based on issue types as we have done as of now, or priorities. Since all the 3 have the same priority, let me change the priority of any of them and make it highest. And make one of them as low. We can see that the color of these story cards have changed according to the priority. Similarly, there are a lot of other options to explore. For example, estimations. Here we are giving estimation statistics as story points, which we can change to original time estimate as well. There are a lot of other options. For example, what all we would like to see in the issues. Now moving back to the board, let us move on to completing the sprint. Once all the issues have been completed, we can move them to done and then complete our sprint. We are doing this just for the sake of showing how to complete the sprint, but as we can see that there are still days remaining, and in actual world scenario, we should not complete the sprint before the time. Now let's again go back to the board. As we can see, the board is clear now and is ready for the next sprint. Moving back to the backlog, Since the issues have been completed, those issues are moved out of the backlog now. Let us now move to the filters. We will be creating few filters which we will be using later on in this course. But what are filters? Filters are the saved criteria for a list of issues for whom we would like to do repetitive searches. Filter is one of the most important feature of Jira tool, used on boards, normal searches, for dashboards, for planning, and a lot of other activities involved in Scrum and project management. Let's start by creating a filter. I am creating a filter to view all the issues on my project. So this is it. It shows all the issues including the epic, tasks, bugs, stories, etc. and including the completed ones. Let me go ahead and save this filter. I'm giving it a name as My Jira filter. We can choose any name we like. Let me go ahead and create one more filter, where project equals to My Jira project and label equals to section 1. Now another filter is also ready. We will give it a name as My Jira section 1 filter. I will be creating just one more filter because we would like to use it when we will be creating our dashboard. Again, project equals to My Jira project and status equals to done issues. Save as My Jira completed filter. So we are done creating our filters. Likewise, we can create a lot of filters which are required in many requirements while we are working on a project. With that, let's move on to creating dashboards for our project. But before that, consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done yet. Okay, so to create a dashboard, on the top menu, select Dashboard Options. Select Create Dashboard. I'm giving it a name as My Jira Project Dashboard. And I would like to have it accessible to all my organization. Anyone in my organization can go ahead and check this dashboard out. So this page shows that we have created a space for our dashboard. But before moving ahead, let us know what are dashboards. Dashboards are designed to display gadgets that help in visualization and organization of our project's assignments, achievements, etc. And now it's the time to go ahead and add the gadgets. The first gadget I would like to use is a pie chart. Just add the gadget. It will ask me which filter do I want to use. Here I would like to use one of the filters which we created earlier, My Jira project filter. This filter will have all the issues under the My Jira project. And I would like to categorize it based on the labels. Let me save it. The gadget is ready now with the visualization of different issues with different labels. Let me now add one more gadget. I would like to see the filter results. Again, it will ask for a filter. Let me add the one we created earlier. It shows that 10 results will be displayed at a time, but a maximum of 50 can be displayed. Therefore, I can go ahead and increase the number if I want to. The columns which will be displayed will be issue type, key, summary, priority, etc. Now, let me save it. And since in my Jira section 1 filter, there were only the issues which had section 1 labels associated with them, they will be shown as follows. To complete our dashboard, I will create one more gadget. This time, let us select Create versus Resolve chart. Again, select a filter. Here, I would like to have my Jira project issues, and I can change the configuration as the project requires. I'm making a change to see the data for only 5 days. Let's save it. This chart shows how many issues were created versus how many were resolved at the same period of time. Now I am going to change the layout to have a better visualization of my dashboard. We can drag and drop our gadgets to different columns. And my dashboard is ready. Hence, a dashboard can give a very good visualization of how your project is going, how it has been behaving in the past, if we are seeing any difficulties, etc. etc. So now we have completed discussing the dashboards and we are left with one more topic to discuss, that is the project workflows. I am going back to the projects. Let us go to the project settings. Select the menu on the left side which says Workflows. So what are workflows? Workflows are another powerful feature of Jira which shows the set of statuses and transitions an issue moves throughout its life cycle. So the project which we were working on, my Jira project, has this workflow which has 4 states in it: to do, in progress, testing, done, and different transitions. The different arrows show here that all the statuses can transition to do. Similarly, all statuses can transition to in progress and so on. Apart from viewing the workflow of a project, one can also create their own custom workflows in Jira, as well as they can change the existing workflows in Jira. Let us try and change this workflow for the illustration purposes. For doing that, click on the edit icon, add a status. Let's say I want to add deploy pending. Allow all statuses to transition to this one. It will be in my in progress category. I'm using the same wording for description as well. It has been added to our workflow. Let's just adjust it. After testing, I would like to view deploy pending. While editing an already existing workflow, Jira shows that this is a draft version, and it is because if we want to change an active workflow, we have to first change it in a draft version and then publish it to apply all the changes to the existing workflow shared by different projects. Here we are just using it in one project. I'm going ahead and publishing it. Do I want to keep a backup? If yes, then I should provide a name. Let us go back to the project and view if the changes have been applied. I'm going to my backlog. I have created a couple of dummy issues to test a workflow. And yes, the changes have been applied because deploy pending is showing as another status option. Since the new status is now added to our workflow, we can also add it as a column in our board. Going to the board settings, columns, add a column. Back to the board. Let's view the board. And here we have a deployment pending column, and it will now allow any issue under the status deploy pending to be added to this column. With that, we complete the workflow topic as well in Jira. Please subscribe the channel for latest and interesting videos. That's all in this course. Thank you for watching. If you like the course, please press like. Do not forget to subscribe the channel Management Bliss for more such interesting courses and videos. In the comment section, please express your views and do write about anything you would like me to improve. Also, you can log on to www.managementbliss.com for interesting articles on Agile, Scrum and Jira. Bye for now. Take care.